Hey, what's up everyone? Maze here from Mazeesports with a 1v1 matchup today for you guys. It is going to be a PvZ on Blistering Sands. Now, this is actually going to be a first-person cast, so just like all of my other first-person cast, I'm going to kind of tell you what's going on in my brain and explain to you guys what I'm thinking at the time and try to give you some pointers about where I am, what things I did right, what things I should have done better, and as well for the other player. So I guess if you guys are unfamiliar with this kind of casting style, you can kind of think of it as the love child between a regular casted match and a tutorial. So kind of nice, gives you a little bit of the best of both worlds here. So yeah, let's get into this game right here. I'm spawning in the top, and my opponent here, an inept coder, he is an inept coder, he is spawning at the bottom right here as the red Zerg. And as always, when I'm playing Zerg, I'm pretty sure I knew I was playing Zerg in this matchup because I am building my pylon up here, and I just have enough energy field right here for me to place down a gateway and a cyber core depending on what I want to do. And I don't want to put my pylon up here because if he is a Bane Zerg, then he can just bust through that pylon and go straight into my base, and then I'm going to cry, and I don't want to really do that. So that's why I keep my pylon back here, so it's nice to have two meaty buildings. You kind of see the same idea with Terran, where recently they've been putting down a barracks and a factory instead of supply depots. It's kind of more common to see that build. And so here I am with my probe scouting around the base trying to see what he might be going. So he does just throw down the pool. And so I am going to kind of wait and see if he does go for a fast expansion. That's why my probe is moving up here. So what I kind of like to do against Zerg is try to keep them on one base as much as possible. So in a map like this rush distance is pretty long, so it is tough to do a double gate effectively. So what I kind of want to do is trick my opponent out. A good Zerg will actually bring a drone and try to see what kind of build order you're going, because Zerg, very reactive race, they need to know what you are going in order for them to be successful. If I'm going one gate core, for sure this guy would have gone a fast hatchery, and I don't want that. So I am chrono boosting out a zealot, making it look like I'm actually going to be just pumping zealots into his base. But really all I want to do here is just send in one zealot, harass a little bit, maybe kill a couple of drones, and then have another zealot back here in case he manages to sneak by some lings or something. My base will be okay. So that's why you see me throwing up this gas immediately. So usually in a double gate build, you're not going to throw up fast gas because you want to save those minerals and those chrono boosts for your zealots. But I'm actually probably going to stop making zealots right here and just kind of keep one. And you see right here, although there are two blocks of space, if you build this correctly, you actually have enough space for one zealot. This is actually ling tight right here, so my zealot is just fat enough to keep lings from going into my base. And what I like to do here is, since he's probably not going to have like 6 lings right off the bat unless he's actually going for a fast rush, I'm going to be able to get at least one drone here. I kind of like to think of it, if I get one drone, then it's an equalizer, because I've killed 50 minerals and then he's going to build 50 minerals again, and it also slows down his mining, so it's actually a little bit more than an equalizer. And secondly, if I kill 2 or 3 drones, then I know I'm going to be pretty solidly ahead of this guy. It's a nice little help in the beginning, especially when the Zerg is only on one base, because if you're going one base Zerg versus one base Protoss, the Protoss has a little bit of an edge in my opinion, because they can run more effectively off one base than Zerg can. And always put this pylon down here in a map where you have destructible rocks, because yeah, you can defend this spot pretty well. I have this fat little zealot here blocking the way, but I don't have anything here really except for these rocks. If you bust through with some roaches or some hydras or whatever, I am going to be in trouble, because this spot is just completely vulnerable to any kind of attack, and all my probes are going to die. So I am going actually probably for a 4 gate right now. I don't remember what I decide to do here, but I am warping in that warp gate technology, very important to have. And I saw that he was going a roach warren when I brought my zealot in here, so it's also nice to kind of have that scout. Sometimes probes will be able to be sniped out before you can find anything. So a zealot is kind of an early zealot is kind of a 2 idea thing, where you are going for a scout as well as some harass. And oh no, my stalkers got trapped. I was not keeping my eyes on the map at the time. I didn't expect them to be pushing out. So usually what I like to do here with 2 stalkers and a zealot is just kind of pick off some zerglings, but this is actually really tough for me to do with just 1 stalker. So finally my second stalker comes up here, and now he is going to be attacking these zerglings, so I'm going to be able to equalize a little bit. A 3rd stalker right now, so I'm picking away at these zerglings because that is really the big threat to these stalkers right now. This is kind of the crucial moment in the game when I do this kind of build, because I have invested a lot of early money into a double gate, and he really hasn't. But the thing is that I need to work on getting a hard switch out and delay enough for my sentry. So that's why I kind of had my stalkers in there. If he did decide to push out, maybe he had a few more units, I would be okay because I'd have that sentry to kind of block off some units. And here I am trying to pick off a couple of more roaches. I can really just kind of kite roaches for as long as I want. But he's backing off right now, and I'm afraid of that darkness right there because he might just be waiting for my roaches to come here and snipe out a stalker. I really didn't want that, so I was kind of playing it safe right there, and I didn't decide to pursue him. I probably could have gotten a couple of roaches there if I did, but I was just playing it safe. So I have that warp gate technology. I actually, yeah, it looks like I am going a 4 gate. So let's see what this Zerg player is going here. It looks like he's still just going roaches, and he's not deciding to put up a second base just yet. I think he is worried that if I go and attack him, I would be able to do some damage. Actually, in retrospect, that probably would have been the better move because he doesn't have a lot of Zerglings out right now. He's really just massing the roaches, and he doesn't even have metabolic boost, so I would have really been able to do some damage here. I would have been able to pick off some of these overlords in their overlord party right here, and maybe even a queen. That's always very nice to do, and a couple of roaches as well, because stalkers are just so fast. Really, the only thing that Zerg have to deal with them early on are speedlings, and this guy doesn't have them, so that probably would have been the better move there. And this sentry is very important in a map, in pretty much every single map that has a ramp of this size. So that's, yeah, a lot of the maps. I think like over 75 or 80%, maybe even more than that. I haven't done the math, so I'm sorry about that. But sentries are important, bottom line. And I'm actually going for a Templar Archives because in order to deal with a mass like this, you see now these roaches are fast. They actually have a move speed of 3, which is faster than stalkers. They have a move speed of just under 3, 2.95. So I can't kite roaches anymore, so I'm going to need something else. That's why I have this Templar Archive, so I will be able to start warping in some High Templar, getting some good Psystorms off, and in conjunction with these sentries, it's very nice if I can completely block off a Zerg player back here, throw out some Psystorms. They have very little room to run, and so now this guy is barfing on my rocks, and I'm starting to move in, and I think I start to peck away at his roaches. What I probably should have done here actually was let him break through the rocks and then sentry block half of his army and pick it off. That's actually what I've started doing recently, and I'm sending in one sentry here in case he does decide to move up on this base, but he is scared of that actually. So if he did move up all of his roaches on here, that would have been fantastic for me because all it takes is one shield and I'd be able to just peck away at all of his roaches with my stalkers up here, and this guy would have started crying. So now he's going to barf away at my rocks one more time, and he is actually going to be able to break through them. So I have my sentries here ready for the shield, and I actually don't have very good vision there. I only have the pylon, so I wasn't able to get my sentries in range even. So make sure if you are going to try to sentry block that those sentries are in position. I actually could have gotten a very nice trap right there if I decided to. You can block this off with a total of 2 fields if you do it nicely. So now I'm going for robotics facility. You might be asking yourself, why am I going so many buildings of just one base? It's actually kind of necessary because one, I need that observer to scout what he's doing, and 2, immortals are actually excellent against roaches. Immortals really are a roach counter, especially once they have that speed. Stalkers just aren't going to cut it anymore because you can't kite them. So this guy is checking for expansions, and I knew that since I am going this tech, I did not want to expand right now. I was going to wait a little bit. I realized that I'm still going to be okay even if he did decide to expand. I'm still fine. I'm on one base, and I'm going to be able to get that expansion up soon enough. Maybe a better tactic for me would have actually been able to move on here and secure this position, but then again, this leaves this flank exposed. So I think I actually decided I made the right decision here. So there goes the observer, so I can avoid burrow. I was actually, at this moment, I remember I was thinking about the danger of movement speed or movement burrowed roaches, because that is very annoying to deal with. He can just pop up and annihilate my entire economy, and that would be a GG there, and I didn't want that to happen. So that's why I have my observer, and I'm kind of keeping him by my forces to see if maybe those roaches are actually in my base right now. But I don't think that he actually was upgrading. No, he doesn't have tunneling claws yet. He only has a speed upgrade, and he does have an expansion, so this guy's a little bit ahead of me, and here I am trying to be a tricksy hobbit and expand up here. And this game, I actually learned why this spot is so tricky to expand against. So a good lesson for you guys watching this right here. All it takes is one unit at the Zelnaga Watchtower, and you can see this Nexus being built. The Blizzard map creators, whoever created this map, knew that this was gonna happen. So they have it in just enough range for you to see that. I'm like, come on, that is so annoying. I remember watching this replay the first time, and I'm like, crap, that's how he saw me, and just waited for it to finish. So good player there. He waited for my Nexus to finish, so I'd absolutely use all of my invested resources in that Nexus and deny me an expansion. So yeah, I was trying to maybe be a little tricky here. This was a really risky move. I try to avoid things like this from now on and just take up my natural, because it's just impossible to defend. I really need some static defense if I'm going to be able to defend it well. And yeah, he's just taking out my Nexus, so I'm down a base, and I've just lost tons of money right there. I'm even supply capped. I have my Observer out here in case he does try to move out. But I actually have a pretty good composition against his army right now. I think he just has a lot more. Yeah, he has that expansion up, and I have teched units. He pretty much just has basic units. He has only roaches and a couple of zerglings. So yeah, he's pretty much just mass roach right now. Here I am trying to supply cap him a little bit. I spot this Overlord party, and here comes the battle. He is starting to encroach on me right now, picking up some good units. He has very good placement right here, and there goes the shields and the Psystorm. So that is kind of what I'm talking about right there. If you can get that position off, it's very nice. He has tons of units on me right now, and I kind of need to back off because I can't really take this, and I think I'm going to lose my High Templar. Oh no! High Templar are going to die, and there goes 2 expensive units lost, even another Stalker, and here's some shields for me to try to not lose my